Hey there, Pepper people. Grandpa Linky here. Quick video on CPAP stuff. We're all trying to enjoy our long weekend, but had a conversation today with someone on AXG Sleep Diagnostics. I was doing a PAP therapy analysis with them, and the question came up of they didn't want to change their CPAP pressure because their doctor told them that it's illegal.
I'm gonna go ahead and crack into this pressure here, change it up. Sometimes I feel like it's not right, and I get the whooping farts and blow my wife's wig off. Yeah, that ought to do it. Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, so you're a wise guy, see? Eat grass. I hear you're trying to change the pressure. I eat fist.
Hey, go easy on him, Gerald. It's not like you changed it to APAP. Freak.
That's crazy. It is not illegal. So there are some problems that you could potentially come into when changing your CPAP pressure from your prescription. I think all of us realize that there is a disconnect. You're not going to have the exact same experiences, even your next door neighbor, someone else across the country. All of our experiences are very, very different. Some of our doctors, you go in and you say, hey, look, here's Oscar. Free program you can download from sleepfiles.com/Oscar. You can look at all your data in there. But you might show that to one doctor and they're like, wow, that's cool. That's amazing. Tell me more about it. And the other one's like, that's not FDA approved. And look the other way, getting all pouty like you're, just like realtors do when you look at Zillow, they get all angry and upset. It's like, what? Some of them will shame you. And I am embarrassed to say that I used to tell people that it's illegal to change your pressure. I was just following orders, which as we know historically has gotten certain countries into trouble. So some of the funky things I see online is that there's some magical like CPAP police that are gonna come and do something. No, they're not gonna do anything. No one's gonna show up at your door and do anything. If anyone even realizes you're doing anything, it may be your DME, which is your durable medical equipment. That's usually the company that provides you with your CPAP equipment, BILEVEL equipment, ASV equipment. If you happen to be in a compliance period, it actually doesn't matter because all they're looking for is time of use in your overall AHI. If your overall AHI, because you're changing your pressures, is going down or staying below 5, they don't care. And as long as you're using it for more than 4 hours per night, just basically every night, they really don't care about anything else. And then typically people find that once their machine is paid off, like that compliance period is over, and like Medicare or whoever your insurance company is, once they pay off that machine, they don't care. They just want you to use the machine. The other thing I've actually seen a lot of is that somehow changing your prescription is going to void your warranty. I can tell you there's no communication between your doctor and the insurance company on that level. If you say to them, hey, my machine burnt out somehow, it's usually like a humidifier, like sometimes a hot plate will malfunction. That's really about it. If the motor happens to wear out, you say, hey, my motor wore out, it's making this loud, high-pitched whining sound. They're not gonna go back to your doctor and say, well, are they using the prescribed pressure? Absolutely not. These machines, if you're using a regular CPAP machine, they're rated up to 20 centimeters of water. Like, it doesn't matter what mask you use. That's just like what they go up to. It's almost like saying your warranty on your car is somehow invalid because you're driving like 100 miles an hour. Just because you go over the speed limit, like all of a sudden that voids your warranty. It doesn't work that way with CPAP machines. Okay, so that's like a big myth that somehow it's going to void a warranty. I don't know where that came from. So last thing I want to talk about is like the super anal doctors that like, you know, everything I say is the end all be all, and you can't change your pressure. It's illegal. So those people, they're not going to know you change the pressure. If for some reason, for a random example, your cat, Stewie, happens to go to your machine and like on an AirSense or AirCurve 11 accidentally hit the more button, and then if they accidentally happen to scroll down and hit the airplane mode button, well, that would be certainly a shame because now none of your data can get out and they wouldn't know what you're doing, if you're changing pressures or not. That would be a shame, wouldn't it? So sometimes you hear of companies, they'll go in and actually change your pressure back. Some are automated where it'll, if you deviate from that pressure, there's communication all the time between machine and the cloud, which is usually, oh my God, AirView. AirView is a ResMed program, and it'll constantly talk. You have to set it up that way, and it'll automatically change the pressures if they're changed. But if they can't talk, if your cat has hit that button enabling airplane mode, it's not going to change off of anything. So if you happen to get a call, just, oh my God, I don't know how that happened. And you can change the pressure, you can experiment as much as you want. But I always am all for having an open dialogue with your physician. Like, look, this pressure is not working. I want to try some other pressures. And usually they're cool. And if not, me personally, you can do whatever you want. I would change doctors because that's not a doctor I really want to work with. If I'm telling them it's not working, I'm not feeling good, and they're like, oh yeah, you should keep doing exactly what you've been doing, banging your head against the same wall every night, that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't really jive with Hippocratic Oath. Okay, hopefully we can put that one to bed. But one thing I do want to say is if you do want to buy a CPAP machine, you can do that through the sponsor of this video, CPAPsupplies.com.
Something like the ResMed AirCurve 10 V-Auto Card-to-Cloud with humid air.
You cannot get a discount code. I'm sorry, it's only for masks and accessories. But if you want to get a mask and accessory, you can use discount code Lefty Summer. That's only good for the rest of August. As I'm recording this, it's August 30th. But you can always use discount code Lefty20, save at least 20% off. Using discount code Lefty Summer, you get 25% off.
You know what? Or just go to the website and instead of using the discount code that they gave me, use one that's much better that's not the one they gave me. Yeah, go ahead and cut me off at the knees.
That's a heck of a deal on any mask and accessory. But I was going to say with the CPAP machines, if you buy it out of pocket, there's no one monitoring you, no one looking at your data, no one saying you can't change this, you can't change that. As most of us know who are searching up CPAP stuff online, there's really not a lot of oversight. And if there is oversight, it's usually kind of bad advice. And I will say with CPAPsupplies.com, this is not part of it, but I've heard a lot of really good things about the customer support, like no lie. I've never heard anyone say they've called CPAPsupplies.com and they gave them bad advice. Specifically, there's someone there named Julie who apparently does a phenomenal job. I've never met her, I've never spoken with her, but I always hear very positive things about what she says, and the advice she's giving sounds phenomenal to me. So check out the sponsor of this video, CPAPsupplies.com, and then on with the rest of the video. Had some comments here I just want to address. So our preacher said he suffocated because while he was sleeping, they lost power while using his CPAP, and was dreaming that he was suffocating and woke up and actually was lol. Now I'm paranoid. Why are you laughing? Because your preacher was suffocating. That's sadistic. So here's what I say to that. People are like afraid of using CPAP because if the power goes out, what? You're gonna go back to breathing the exact same way you're breathing without CPAP? I don't understand that. If you're using CPAP, any mask has some sort of an anti-asphyxiation valve or vents that you can at least breathe long enough that when you do wake up, you take the mask off. If it's something you're super, super paranoid about, there are backup batteries you can use. A lot of these are like $150, $200. You can find them on Amazon, like they're called portable power generators. There's a lot of them that are fairly inexpensive, but you just plug that into the wall, plug your machine into that. Should the power go out, your UPS or uninterruptible power supply will kick in, keeps pumping air, you're good. And then when power comes back on, it just starts recharging the battery again. Super simple solution. I've had the power go out on me before without it plugged into that, and yeah, I just woke up. It really wasn't anything. Yeah. Okay, another one has to do with mask leaks, and I think some people kind of overdo it on mask leaks. So let's just start fresh. If you're using just really any mask at all, could be a full face mask, could be nasal pillows, those don't really apply. I'll touch on that in a second. If you have leaking, you want to do a couple things. One, make sure the sizing is right. Use a sizing guide. If you have a standard mask, you want it to rest on what is called the nasion. That is the low point of the bridge of your nose. You want it to come down, obviously, in a comfortable area. If it's a full face mask, it needs to rest right here and swing down with your mouth slightly open, quarter of an inch to a half inch below your slightly open mouth. If it meets those parameters, that's technically a good fit. Okay, now the sides are different, but it's technically a good fit. So same with those hybrid masks. You're just gonna push them up on your nose. If the bottom part, your mouth is slightly open, it's a quarter of an inch to half an inch below your lip with your mouth slightly open, that's a good fit. Now, with those styles of masks, I would say snug up the mask, make it snug. If it's already snug, you should be good. But sometimes people start to over tighten because things leak. I'll get to that in a second. But if it's leaking, the first thing I would do, I'm saying if you're awake and it starts leaking, just take the mask, pull it away from your face. Sometimes the silicone will get folded over on itself. So if you just pull it away and then let it reseat, usually that's all you have to do and you're good. And I will say, if it's a full face mask, you could have jaw drop. So if you go to sleep and the mask fits great and you're waking up because you have purging of air at the bottom part, That's different. That is a jaw drop leak, and you want to do something to isolate your jaw, keep it from moving. I have a ton of videos on that, so check those out. Now, as far as sizing of a nasal pillow mask, you just want to use the largest pillows possible that you don't have to like manipulate to get into your nose. That way you have the aperture on the holes of the pillows is as big as possible. You get as natural a breathing experience as you possibly can, and you're having no restrictions because the holes are as big as possible. 0.8 events per hour for 7 hours of use. Is that not a lot? So that's on my video of why you feel worse with CPAP. So I do videos on this all the time. Your apnea-hypopnea index, 1 is very inaccurate. But let's just say that 0.8 events of apnea-hypopnea index, that's great. You're having no apneas or hypopneas. But what about respiratory effort-related arousals? So you could have a very low AHI, which is apneas and hypopneas, completely stop breathing and stop breathing enough that you have a 30% decrease in your breathing, as well as a 4% oxygen to saturation. Good, you're not having any of those, but you're still having these RIRAs where your airflow is decreasing, you're still waking up, but maybe your blood oxygen is just dropping down to 3%. Well, that sounds totally different. Oh, actually, no, it doesn't. You're still waking up a lot, so you're gonna be very, very tired. So if it were up to me, I would look at just an RDI, which is just an overall respiratory disturbance index. It counts everything. Look for flat tops on the tops of waves with rapid spikes up. That's basically you waking up because you're choking. So if you don't have a lot of those, you should be feeling pretty good. If you have a lot of those, you're probably gonna feel like crap. Jason, out of curiosity, do you know if the ResMed CPAP machine is mechanically different from the ResMed BILEVEL machine? They are the exact same machine. The difference is the firmware inside of them. So there have been people that'll take an Air, I don't know if they've done it with an 11, but I know with an AirSense 10 device, you can jailbreak those. I had someone so I've had 5 people I know that have done it. Every single one of them have been software engineers. They showed me the site they went to download the firmware. They showed me the kit that they had to buy. It's like these little red jumper cables that they plugged into something. And then they went in and had to actually do some coding. One guy was really good at coding and he made everything just beautiful. All of them got it to work. One of them opened it up so that it was literally everything. It was an ST machine, it was an ASV machine, it was a BILEVEL machine, it was a CPAP, they all had APAP. They had literally everything. That makes Oscar very unclean. Like it has a lot of like, what the hell kind of machine is this? It's like a lot of like hieroglyphics. The people that just want, I just want it to be an ASV or I just want it to be a BILEVEL machine, they look very clean. But yeah, you can do it. Would I recommend it? Absolutely not, unless you absolutely know what you're doing. But like I said, there are forums out there where that stuff can be found. You can definitely brick your machine. So I would be careful doing it, but it can be done. They're basically the same thing. All right, y'all, that's all I got for you. I will say that I am sitting at 79,980 subscribers. Can I get
15.
20 subscribers by September? If you're watching this, you have yet to subscribe, please like the video if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe to the channel. I try to make this stuff as fun as possible. It can be very, very dry. It can be very intimidating. And I like to use humor to disarm you guys, make you more accepting of information. Because like, hey, that guy's got a sense of humor. It's not so bad. Look, I'm in this with you. I have sleep apnea. It's not a fun road. You can feel very, very alone with it. But if you have someone joking about it, if you have someone that's been through it, has some tips that may or may not work. So some of my advice works for you, some of it doesn't, but use what sticks, discard what doesn't, and I think you'll be in a much better place overall. Back to the point though, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. All right, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Clean your stinky mask with some Mask Bright, available at Amazon.
And time for an extra thick thanks, buddy, to my top level supporters, Doug Toombs, Jason Georgiades, Patricia Espelong, Stuart Hetherington, Alan Liu, Chung Chu Chen, Edward Steiner, and Teddy Stegman. Probably messing up the pronunciation, but it is what it is. I'd like to say thank you also to these people,
you get a shout out.
as well as
Barely
those
even
other
on
people.
screen, but still appreciate the support.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.